Do we have colleagues from Ghana online?
Colleagues from, hello?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us from Sierra Leone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So from Liberia will be joined soon by our colleagues from the Ministry of Health and the Public Health Institute also.
Great, thanks.
Hi, this is Fatima Gohar from Regional Office, UNICEF Regional Office.
Welcome, Fatima. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure if we have colleagues from the Ghana office. Is there anyone representing Ghana here online? Do we have someone from Ghana office? I mean UNICEF Ghana. Okay, so maybe we give them a few minutes because they are part of this webinar. But you're matching it. It's okay. Oh, it was Papa Zaida. Hi everyone, good afternoon and good morning to those in New York and other parts of the world where it's still morning. So my name is Irene. We are trying to wait for colleagues from the Ghana country office. We don't see them online yet, but I think we can start, and then once they join, they can just come in, and if they're ready to make that presentation, they will do so at the right time. So my name is Irene, as I said, and I work for UNICEF at the New York HQ office. So we have 3 countries on this webinar that are presenting on the to provide updates on the WASH Fit and the action plans that were developed in Dakar in 2016. So we have Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Ghana. But we also have participants from different countries. This webinar is basically meant for the 3 countries, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. But we have invited some colleagues from UNICEF HQ, colleagues from WHO, from different countries as well, and colleagues from Asia who work for UNICEF. So this is a joint webinar organized by UNICEF together with the WHO and the governments from the 3 respective countries. And we will have a colleague from WHO, Arabella, who will take us through the introduction. And then we'll have colleagues from UNICEF, WHO, and colleagues from the Ministry of Health of the 3 countries who will run us through the updates on the WASH Fit and the country action plans. So over to you, Arabella.
Thanks, Irene. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that introduction, and thanks to everybody else for joining the call today from wherever you are in the world, and especially to our colleagues in West Africa for preparing some slides and presentations to give an overview of their progress since 2016. So just a very quick kind of reminder for those of you at the workshop and for those of you who weren't at the workshop. 2 years ago in Dakar in Senegal, we held a workshop with 8 countries to introduce WASH Fit and also talk about WASH and healthcare facilities more generally. So we had, I think, a 3-day workshop where we talked about the current situation on WASH and healthcare facilities in each of those countries. We explained, we went through the WASH Fit methodology, and we also, each country was supposed to develop an action plan during group work on the 3rd day. And the idea was that after the workshop, country teams went back to the relevant ministries and with WHO, UNICEF and WaterAid colleagues, worked through those action plans and plan to get those agreed by the ministries. So today is really an opportunity to hear what has happened since then, some of the challenges that you've faced in using WASH Fit and more generally on your work in WASH in healthcare facilities, but most importantly, what successes you've had. So where you've managed to make progress and what have been the greatest achievements since 2016. Just a little overview on WASH Fit in a sort of a 30-second snapshot. So WASH Fit, for those of you who aren't as familiar with it, is a tool that was developed by WHO and UNICEF in 2015. And it's a tool very much focusing on improvement. So understanding, using a risk-based healthcare facility by healthcare facility staff, working together as a team, making kind of small-scale improvements that lead to bigger changes with the ultimate aim of improving staff morale, patient safety, reducing infections, and improving the quality of care. Not only, so we've had the 8 countries who took part in the Dakar workshop. So there's the 3 Anglophone countries participating today, Liberia, Ghana and Sierra Leone, but we also had 5 Francophone countries from West Africa. So we had Guinea, DRC, Senegal, Mali and Chad. But there's also been lots of other interest in using WASH Fit the WashFit tool more generally, so other countries in Africa like Madagascar, Ethiopia, and then further afield in the Asian region, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Nepal. So today on the webinar is just obviously the few countries that participated in the workshop, but the idea is this should be part of a kind of a broader exchange of information and sharing of exchanges with other countries who are using the same approach and who are working on wash and healthcare facilities. So we plan sort of in the coming months potentially to have other webinars and to continue with more regular information sharing. That's a very quick overview of where we are so far. I'm joined here as well by Maggie Montgomery in the office. I don't know if she wants to add anything before we get started on the country updates.
Just a quick note to say that we've been in discussions with various health colleagues that are working on developing training materials, specifically with our infection prevention control, as well as with our colleagues working on quality care for maternal and newborn health, about how we can adapt elements of WashFit and integrate pieces of WashFit into their training. So that's something on the horizon, but just wanted to let you know. And if you see opportunities in your own countries to do that, I'd be happy to engage and work with you.
Great, thanks very much, Maggie. And perhaps Irene, I'll hand back to you, and then if you want to share and introduce the speakers from the different countries. So over to you.
Thank you, Arabella, for that nice introduction, and thanks, Maggie. So we have Ghana online now, and I think we go straight to hear from Dr. Peter Bafo, or the colleague from WHO, Akosua, or Gloria. I don't know who is taking the lead in this presentation. So over to you, Ghana colleagues. Hello, Peter, are you online? Anyone from Ghana? Okay, so maybe we move to the next presentation. We will just run through the slides very fast to, yeah. Okay, so we have Liberia, and I think we have colleagues from Liberia already. So anyone from Liberia, not Kamara, Patience, are you online to present? Hi, Patience. You might be.
Yes. Okay, we have been joined by. Yes, we are online. So we have been joined by the Ministry of Health, who will do the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. From our end is good afternoon. I'm like Amos Ebori from the Ministry of Health, the National Public Health Institute of Liberia. I will be presenting on behalf of the Liberia team. And joined on this team is Quincy Gore from WHO Liberia. Patience is here from Water Aid. Lusu Gibson from Shalom. And then E. Jefferson Download from the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, Ministry of Health. So, are you there?
Yes, we are all here.
Okay, so basically, our presentation is structured in a way that we are going to look at what was planned in Dakar, and then on the basis of that, we will be providing updates, and then we will run through some challenges, some lessons learned, and then some recommendations. In Dakar, last year we had planned to, upon returning back to Liberia, we planned to brief the Ministry of Health Authority on the action plan. We also thought that sharing updates through the weekly meeting was essential, so that was one of our key activities that we had planned. And then we had also earmarked to develop a strategic plan for the rollout of the WashFit at district and health facility levels. We also thought that we needed to write a concept note and a proposal for funding for the rollout, as As a matter of fact, we will have to mobilize resources to be able to implement the rollout of the wash fit. And then as part of the rollout, we thought that training of healthcare workers was key. And then finally, on the list of our action plan in Dakar last year, we thought that we needed to include WASH activity in the quality management framework of the Ministry of Health as part of its infection prevention and control strategy. So basically, we have made some achievement in line with our action plans that was developed in Dakar 2016. And one key achievement was that we immediately upon returning to Liberia, we briefed the senior managers at the Ministry of Health. That was done on the 15th of June of 2016. And as part of that briefing, all of those plans that were developed in Dakar were shared with the senior managers. We also provided updates through our periodic meetings on the WASH fit, or let's say the implementation of the WASH package in health facilities. Currently, there's an ongoing, there's a periodic meeting on the sharing of such updates. We also developed a strategic plan as to how we will roll out the WASH fit both at the district and health facility level. That was planned, but we had some challenges. We could not implement the rollout due to lack of funding. However, we got some funding from one of our partners, JICA, who was able to support, JICA and WaterAid, they supported the implementation of the WASH fit in 44 health facilities. Initially, we had thought to have a cascaded approach wherein the national level facilitators have been trained. We thought to then move to the county level, which was also done. And then the next level will have been the district level and then the health facility level. But we did not have resources to implement the district level training. However, during the facility level training targeting the 44 health facilities, national level facilitators were used as mentors to train the health facility staff. So that was a key achievement, and this was done through support from JICA, that's the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and that of WaterAid Liberia and Sierra Leone, right? Yeah. We also rehabilitated water supply system for Pipeline Community Health Center. That was also supported by WaterAid. A concept note and proposal for funding was written and sent out to WHO and UNICEF. We are still hopeful that such will be funded, especially in this year, but for last year in 2016, we didn't get funding. This was a main challenge, even though the concept note was developed, but the lack of funding was a challenge for us. Like I said, initially, we had used mentorship as a key strategy. So we also mentored 49 of the 740 health facilities staff on WASH fit. A total of 549 facility staff were targeted from 11 of the 15 counties. And this was done through the support of WHO Liberia. Further achievements also include WASH was integrated into the quality management unit of the Ministry of Health. WASH as a program has now been integrated into a newly formed unit in the Health Services Department of the Ministry of Health. This is a success story because we know that infection prevention and control is a key strategy that the Ministry of Health of Liberia has adapted coming from the Ebola crisis. So the fact that we have integrated WASH into that unit makes us to be a bit confident as to the full implementation of the WASH fit, especially at the level of the public health facilities. We also think that this will also benefit the private health facilities. We also conducted joint monitoring and supportive supervision in collaboration with the Quality Management Unit of the Ministry of Health. There has begun the reviewing and updating of the Liberia National Guideline on Safe Management of Healthcare Waste. This is a key achievement. And then we have also initiated the county health team and WHO partner county level joint supportive supervision and mentorship. So around the challenges, there are a number of them. One key challenge that we have observed over the period have been limited resources, if not lack of resources to facilitate the rollout of the wash fit. We initially had resources to have the national level training, the county level training, and then the district level and health facility level training, we lack resources. There are 15 counties in Liberia, so we have trained people at the 15 county in the 15 counties. We have 92 health districts. We have not trained anyone in the districts. We have about 700, roughly 740 health facilities. The support from WaterAid and JICA, we have been able to train 44. So we still have a significant gap in terms of health facilities and that of district level training. We also, so the lack of resources also impact the review and updating of the national guidelines for safe management of healthcare waste in Liberia. We have a technical team that has met and they have developed a good draft. We call it draft 0, but we need to take that draft from where it is and maybe call stakeholders together, have it validated, and then finalize and have it ready for use in Liberia. This will also support the wash fit package that we have been implementing. And then limited logistics and supplies to cover remote and hard to reach health facilities in terms of monitoring. Most of our roads are impassable during the rainy season, and even during dry season, they have to reach areas that will need motorbikes, will need some 4x4 vehicles to move to those areas. So that's also lacking. Even in areas where there are vehicles such as 4x4, jeeps, but there's sometimes lack of gasoline or maybe fuel to move those vehicles. And then operations and maintenance of wash services in health facilities is also another challenge that we have been able to experience over the period of time implementing the wash fit. What are lessons that we have learned so far? We've learned that development of the wash fit database, which is currently in use and has captured for the 9 facilities, helps towards effective resource allocation, while at the same time motivates facility administrators and healthcare workers based on performance grading. We also have learned that supported supervision and mentorship at the facility level is effective. It enables direct interaction with the healthcare providers for on-site mentorship and corrective action. During this supported supervision, we are able to spot weaknesses in the health system, especially as related to the wash fit, and then on-site we are able to correct those weaknesses through some mentorship. We also learned that integrated joint monitoring, that is the wash team and the IPC team at the national level, both national and county level, is resource effective, cut down unnecessary spending in terms of the two teams moving in silos. And finally, as a lesson learned, it's a periodic review of working documents, that's policy, guidelines, strategic plans, etc., to enhance performances and promote continued advocacy. So as we review these policies and guidelines, we are able to identify emerging issues and challenges, and this also helps promote advocacy. And there are a couple of recommendations based on these challenges that the Liberia team has identified. One of key recommendations is the fact that the wash fit use for supervision and monitoring needs to be updated, and that most indicators need to be included to reflect the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And then the Ministry of Health Liberia needs to clearly define budget lines for the support of wash activities. Currently, there is no budget line for the implementation of wash activities. However, although there are some spending, but we need a clear budget line within the Ministry of Health budget for the implementation of wash activities. And then third, that wash fit activities be rolled out at the district and health facility levels. Right now, we have a significant gap at the district level. We need to roll out the wash fit in all 92 health districts, and then continue to the 740 health facilities that have not been targeted. Finally, the health authorities to institute periodic monitoring, supervision, and reporting. Essentially, is to support the continuation of the supportive supervision that has been initiated by the laboratories like the WHO, WaterAid, the Ministry of Health, and HCF. This is it from our end, unless colleagues, Gol, you have anything to add?
Yeah, that's why you have said, I think.
So, colleagues, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, are you there?
Yes.
All right, so from our end, this is the presentation prepared by the
Okay.
government.
Sorry, is this Peter? Is this Ghana?
No, this is Liberia.
Okay, okay. Please go ahead. So we have a few minutes now up to 10 o'clock. You know, we have another presentation for the Francophone countries, so we should wrap up now. So we give time to Ghana and Sierra Leone to deliver their presentations.
Yeah, sure. That's the end of our presentation, unless you have questions and some comments and recommendation that we will listen to.
Okay. So
Irene, hi, this is Lisette here from headquarters. Thanks for an excellent presentation. What is the process? Are we going to have questions or feedback after each presentation or after the three are done? What is the sequence?
We suggest that we hold on the Q&A until all the three countries have made their presentations.
Okay, good, thank you. And thanks for an excellent presentation. I loved it. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we will invite Ghana now to make their presentation, and please kindly be cautious of the time. We have only 30 minutes to go for the two presentations, definitely the Q&A. So over to you, Peter, or whoever is presenting from Ghana. Yes. Hello, Ghana, are you online?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm here with WHO. This is Peter speaking, and Gloria, the focal person for WASH IPC at the Ghana Health Service. So we can proceed.
Hi, Gloria, if you're ready to speak, please unmute your mic.
Yes, you can go on, please. Slides. Next slide, please. Yeah, right. So for us, I think a quick of a background. Prior to the Dakar workshop, we did not have any exposure or any experience with WashFit. So for the Ghana country team, our first exposure for WashFit was the Dakar workshop. Prior to that, we did not have any program on WASH in healthcare facilities. The country did not have a strategy for WASH in health facilities, and there was no systematic reporting on status of WASH in healthcare facilities. Next. Next, please. Yeah. Now, upon return from Dakar, so for us that was like a baptism into WASH faith. The team quickly briefed the directors of the Ghana Health Service, headquarters, and the Ministry of Health about what we had gone to learn and the action plan. We got their support. Quickly, a technical working group was put together to work and ensure that the action plan was brought into fruition. the team was also tasked to lead the advocacy for WASH in healthcare facilities. We needed to get some key people at the Ministry of Health to understand what is happening with WASH in our health facilities. We did this advocacy through the high-level meetings, such as the health sector working group meetings, the health business meeting, and also the annual reviews meetings. We also managed to get WASH issues incorporated into some of the quality improvement initiatives that were ongoing in the country, especially for maternal and newborn care, specifically for mother and baby-friendly health facility initiative that is being implemented in 4 districts in one of our regions. And then we continuously provided feedback to the directors of the headquarters on the progress that we are making and sought their guidance. So I'll quickly take you through the action points, what we had on our action plan from Senegal and the progress that we have made therein. We had committed to form a task force or a task team that will seek to the implementation of WASH in healthcare facilities. That has been done. We have a national steering committee, which is chaired by the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service. And then we have a technical working group with membership from Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, and the rest. The other action point was to integrate WASH into the infection prevention and control program. That has been done. The focal person. So currently the program is called the WASH IPC program, and we have managed to develop common indicators for IPC and WASH in healthcare facilities. We had also planned to do a baseline survey. We have baseline survey in 50 health facilities in Northern region and the Upper East regions to guide us. The other action point was to conduct a national and regional training for WASH fit. Unfortunately, this training was scheduled for last quarter of last year. Somehow, because of clash of programs, it was postponed to early this year. We already have some resources to conduct TOT for all the 10 regions and then support some facilities in some regions to actually scale down this training to the facility levels. We have developed we also committed to develop national monitoring system. And here we say we've developed national indicators to monitor WASH and infection prevention in our facilities. We are here to train those who report these indicators. We've already incorporated indicators into the health management information systems. And by second quarter this year, God willing, we should have the first data coming through from our health information management system. So for 2018, the priorities for us will be to conduct the training, like I said, which we couldn't do in the last quarter last year. We will train regional teams, and some regions we will train health facility teams to begin to implement and give them some support. The Ministry of Health has become so interested that they requested the technical working group for support and the partners to support them develop a national strategy for WASH in healthcare facilities. The group is already worked on the terms of reference, and we are in the process of engaging the resource people who will help us work on this. So for us, from our baptism in Senegal, we now have a WASH in healthcare facility program, which we didn't have. WASH fit hopefully should be implemented across some facilities this year. We will have national strategy by the end of the year, and hopefully by middle of this year, we should have our first data coming through the health management information system. We are very grateful to WHO, WaterAid, headquarters UNICEF, for we've been contacting the focal points back and forth for support. This has not been without a challenge. In fact, Liberia mentioned funding challenges, and we have similar. Increasingly, the headquarters or Ghana Health Service is not happy that we do things in small places. They want things to be using the system approach for a nationwide approach, and that can be quite challenging and resource intensive. So we are dialoguing with them to see how best we can sail through this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that presentation. We have about 20 or so minutes left. So I think we move on to Sierra Leone now for the last presentation, and then we'll go into question and answer. Kamara, who is presenting from Sierra Leone?
Yeah, Dr. Sila is the Director of Environmental Health and Sanitation. He'll be presenting, and UNICEF, Jesse is also here from UNICEF, and 2 focal points from the ministry. So Dr. Sila, the Director, will be presenting progress on the implementation of WASH.
Good afternoon, all. As Mr. Kamara said, I'm Dr. Sila, Director of Environmental Health. My presentation is going to be brief. As we already know, time is at a premium. I will go straight to the achievements without much ado. Okay. Of course, we have had 2 stakeholder consultation meetings that have been okay. We are not going to that background. I'm just talking about the achievements here. We have done training of trainers and sensitization workshop conducted for 10 additional healthcare workers on WASH Fit and WASH Fit tool. WASH IPC indicators have been finalized and incorporated into the HMIS. Internal consultations have been taking place between the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and Ministry of Water Resources on WASH Fit, so that the WASH Fit will be incorporated into the water safety plan of the Ministry of Water Resources. Of course, to strengthen sensitization, we also presented the WASH Fit at the WASH review meeting we had in November, so that we can get a clear understanding of our key stakeholders. Sensitization of 40 district health workers on WASH Fit and training on WASH Fit tool conducted in 2 districts in Bombali and Bo. Bombali is in the northern province and Bo is in the southern province of Sierra Leone. The WASH Fit guidelines and tool have been shared among the key stakeholders in Sierra Leone. Of course, we have the enabling environments. The enabling environment, we have political will that has really supported the implementation of this WASH Fit. There is a greater collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Water Resources and other key stakeholders for WASH Fit. There is also currently an availability of trained personnel on WASH Fit. There has been some seed money to kickstart the sensitization and training of district health care workers. There is also willingness of healthcare workers to be sensitized in WASH Fit and be trained on the WASH Fit tool. Of course, we cannot succeed without the willingness of the healthcare workers to actually participate in this intervention. Of course, we have few challenges. which is not only akin to Sierra Leone, but it may be cross-cutting among the regions in West Africa. Inadequate funding to support the implementation of the planned activities. Competing priorities within the ministry and partners of
Oh, we seem to have lost you. Are you still online? Hello, Kamara? Hello? Can anyone hear us?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, can you hear Kamara? I don't seem to hear him completely now.
So, Kamara is off. We can't hear Kamara.
Okay, so who is there from Sierra Leone to present? I wonder.
Irene.
Hello.
Irene, maybe you can start with the questions of the other, and if they come back, we can finish the question and then come back to Ghana.
Yeah.
Sorry, to Sierra Leone.
Okay, so good idea. So I think we can start with the first one down here. Arabella is asking, Ghana, can you share the your advocacy messages and plan? Yeah, so Ghana, maybe you want to respond on this first question.
Hold on, I'm a little bit lost. We had Liberia first, wasn't it?
Yes, but we are picking the questions from the most recent, so it's easier for us to go upwards.
Okay. Do we need to write the questions, or do we come in?
Yeah, just come in. I mean, you don't have to
Okay.
put in the chat box. So if you have a question, just pop it up and yeah.
Okay. Now okay, I had a question for Liberia, because that was an excellent update, and I support the comment from I think Maggie Arabella that this mentorship is also very, very interesting. I had a question related to your challenges, because you indicate that in your challenges, operation maintenance is poor, limited logistics, etc. What I liked very much from the presentation is that you have a link with the technical working group, and that you have a link with the ministry. But how far is it integrated in existing programs already? Did you do a review of the quality of maternal health care programs or the regulations and the legal frameworks before you started with the WASH Fit? And if not, would that be useful, or do you say it's better to start with a WASH Fit assessment and then look at where it fits? Is my question clear?
Is it directed to Liberia?
Yeah. Is the question directed to Liberia?
It is.
Yes.
So my question is whether you did a review of the regulatory and frameworks and the existing programs before you started this work, and if not, would that be useful? What is the lesson for other countries to work on this? Is it better to look beforehand at it, or to just start with the WASH Fit, the assessment at healthcare level?
I think it's better you start with the regulatory framework review, because that's what we did in Liberia. We had the quality management unit that was set up within the Ministry of Health, even before the Ebola outbreak. And then once we had the Ebola outbreak, we also did what we call a WASH assessment in healthcare facilities supported by UNICEF Liberia. And then from the assessment, we then developed a WASH package, and that was later improved by the WASH Fit.
Okay, that's clear. Thanks. That's very, very much, because I didn't hear that from the two other presentations, so it could be interesting to hear from the other two as well. But maybe you want to go to the written questions first.
Yeah, hello.
Hello,
Lizard.
we cannot hear you.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, we can hear.
Can you hear us?
Yes, is that Sierra Leone?
Yes.
Okay, so I think feel free to go ahead. Proceed.
We are back online.
Yes, continue with the presentation.
The constraints. Of course, we have constraints with funding, as I said earlier on, in the implementation of the activities. We have completed prioritizing within the ministry and partners. There are delays in accepting the wash fit concept. Use of other assessment tools has been a challenge because so many other tools have been developed, but to accept this concept is a challenge. Of course, we had a landslide and flooding in Sierra Leone. That too was a challenge. The way forward, we want to finalize, print, and roll out the draft action plan. We want to continue sensitization of districts, health workers on wash fit and train them on wash fit tool. We want to continue stakeholder consultative meetings, and we also want to launch the wash fit so that all the key stakeholders will actually know what the wash fit is about in details. I think that's the end of the brief presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Hello?
Thank you so much, Kamara. I think you have a few other slides on the action plan. Do you want to run through those very quickly in 2 minutes?
The action plan.
Yes. I mean, if you could just pick a few quick points from the action plan in 2 minutes or so, and then we go to the question and answer.
Yes, the action plan that we have the short term and the medium, and of course the long term. The short term, we want to continue stakeholders engagement because we want their full participation. We want to validation of draft guidelines on wash fit in health facilities. We also want to do a validation of the wash fit action plan. We also wish to do validation and integration of joint wash IPC indicator into the HMIS. Of course, training of trainers and healthcare facility staff on wash fit. We want to continue strengthening that one, that aspect. We also want to develop the wash in healthcare facility strategic plan. Of course, that one is a long-term plan. But the ones I have already mentioned are the short-term plans we want to achieve within a very possible short time. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much for that presentation.
Okay.
Yes, so we have about 9 minutes to go, and we would like to give colleagues on the call a chance to pose a few questions. So please, if you have some questions to ask, please do ask. There are some questions on the chat box as well. So for all the countries that are presented, feel free to check the chat box for any questions and pick them up and respond. But I think there were questions addressed to Ghana on the monitoring and the budget. So what was the budget and what was the monitoring mechanism that you used? And then for Liberia, there was a question about the key to success. So maybe very quickly, Ghana, if you can respond to the monitoring and the budget, and then Liberia can jump in to talk about the key to their success. Ghana, can you go ahead?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so there was something on advocacy or assessment first, which one come, and our experience. I won't say exactly one come before the other. In our experience, I think they went somehow hand in hand, because some form of assessment for us was very useful to get some data, even if it was from one district. For instance, we had initial assessment of 28 health facilities in 2 districts. And that data was shocking, even though people believed that there was problem with washing healthcare facilities. The magnitude was not well appreciated. And when those figures came in, and you use those figures, then you are able to do a very effective advocacy. So I think those two, in our experience, went hand by hand, and for us, that was quite very helpful. With regard to monitoring system, like we said, we have developed indicators. We feel that it is not easy to periodically do surveys and things like that, but if those indicators are on our health information systems and data is being reported quarterly, some of them half yearly, then we'll be able to constantly analyze those data and monitor how WASH in health facilities are improving or otherwise. So that is, of course, we also have integrated monitoring tool. The IPC monitoring tool is now IPC WASH monitoring tool. So when people go for integrated monitoring, they will also monitor what is happening with WASH in healthcare facilities. With regard to budget, and it's a challenge that we all face so far, I would say that yes, government or Ghana Health Service is putting in the personnel, a bit of vehicles and things like that. But I think lots of financing has come from partners, UNICEF, WHO, but it's also more integrated into our program that we are doing, especially the maternal and newborn initiatives, the quality improvement initiative that we have. We try to adjust the program to make sure that WASH is part of those programs and leverage on the resources that we have for those purposes. Thank you.
Thank you for responding to that. A few questions for Liberia. What is your key to success, and how did you select the 49 facilities? What were the findings of that survey? Over to you, Liberia.
So some of the keys to our success in Liberia have to do with, one, there was a good partnership and coordination between and amongst the government of Liberia and that of its partners, the WHO, UNICEF, WaterAid, and others. We also saw that during the Ebola outbreak, there was a lot of resources that was pumped into Liberia, and the WASH Fit implementation was boosted, up due to that funding. So we had some leverage as it relates to the Ebola funding, but also other program resources from WHO and UNICEF. We also tap on those resources. So essentially, the availability of funding during that period helped us to achieve most of what we have just outlined. And relative to the selection of the health facilities that were mentored, it was done in collaboration with the county health team. So in Liberia, we have our health system structure in that we have the Ministry of Health at the national level, and then at the county level, we have county health teams. And then at the district level, we have district health teams. So at the county level, the county health team, particularly Montserrat County health team, was responsible to select those 49 health facilities. And on the basis of need, especially as it relates to some supported supervision that have been taking place during the regular clinical supervision that takes place at the county level, So during clinical supervision, issues are identified such as IPC issues, infection prevention control, lack of safe drinking water, lack of sanitation facilities. So WASH issues are also identified during those clinical supervision. And on the basis of that, once we had a partner willing to support the county health team, the county health team was able to identify those facilities that needed to be mentored. So those 49 facilities were targeted on the basis of that. And some of the findings that we saw there was that there were lack of existing WASH fit team in those health facilities. So they had to be trained or mentored. And then there were improper waste disposal or waste management practices were very poor. There was lack of waste bin. In Liberia, we have a healthcare waste guideline that is being finalized. And one thing that we have stressed is that there has to be a 3-bin system in all of our healthcare facilities to segregate healthcare waste. So the findings show that most of these health facilities lack that system, the 3-bin system to segregate waste. There was also lack of safe drinking water. Most of these facilities did not have running water. So overall, the WASH situation in these facilities was very poor, and the mentorship helped to give the hands-on practices as to how to handle healthcare waste as it relates to the point of generation to the final disposal, but also in terms of safe drinking water, how can we ensure that these health facilities have enough safe drinking water in terms of quality and quantity? How can we also work with them to improve the current system they have from hand-dug wells to maybe elevated reservoir and then have it piped in the health facility? So these are things that going forward we will also continue to improve on as it relates to the package that we have developed.
So in addition to what he just said, one of the key issues that we also noticed at the monitoring is that we really found out that most of our health facilities do have these incinerators either that have met their use and no longer functional, which of course pose a huge stress to the management of healthcare waste, and also the availability of national guidelines to guide them through the management of healthcare waste. As a result of that, we have embarked on with the Ministry of Health to see and MPhil to see that the National Healthcare Waste Guideline is being updated, and then put on the national level. But up to present, we still have a challenge of succeeding in that because of the lack of funding. Yeah. So healthcare waste is actually an issue. Unless Jeff, you want to, I hope we got everything.
Okay, so
so far for us, that's what we.
So thank you so much, Liberia. Time is running out. We need to give it 1 minute at least to Sierra Leone. So a few questions for Sierra Leone. One is, do you have a technical working group under the Ministry of Health? And then the last question I think was about the findings. I can't see the question now. Okay, maybe you can just respond on that first question. Did you have, a technical working group, the Ministry of Health? So, Kamara, over to you.
I think Kamara is not online.
Hello, Kamara?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear us? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Right, yes, there is a technical working group. There is a technical working group in Sierra Leone, and it meets, is co-chaired by the Minister of Health and Sanitation and Minister of Water and Resources, and it's monthly. There's a question on the seed money. For the 2 districts, Bombale and Bo, that have received sensitization and training on the WASH Fit tool, WHO provided the seed money of $20,000. So that has been spent already. And if you look at the there is a budget, a short budget breakdown for the plans that Dr. Sila presented. So we still need about $80,000 to go through those activities. So far so good. We're still working on that. WashFit has not actually been implemented now in the healthcare facilities. What Sierra Leone is doing now is to sensitize the healthcare workers and train them on the WashFit tool.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sorry. Okay, thank you everyone for the presentations. Unless
I said, so we still need to. Hello.
Hello, Kamara. You seem to be breaking. We can't hear you. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
So basically, that's what we are doing now. Yeah. Yes. So that's what we are doing now. We still need support for the to continue the other activities, and we count on your support, technical and financial support, so that we will continue. WHO and UNICEF, we are working together, but we cannot cover all of the activities. So we still need your technical support and possibly also financial support, so that we will this year go through all the sensitization meetings and possibly also complete the action plan and launch WashFit and start the implementation at the healthcare facilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamara, and thank you everyone for the beautiful presentations. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. We have another webinar right now with colleagues from the French-speaking countries. So I think from our side, as Maggie mentioned earlier, we'll be developing, guidelines and training materials for using the WashFit. And some of you might also know that we've been working on the WashFit. UNICEF together with WHO have been preparing or developing the WashFit. So the WashFit manual will be coming out. Guidelines will be coming out shortly, and we'll be printing it out and we'll be disseminating it to all our colleagues from the different, countries where we work. So I don't know, Maggie and Arabella, I don't know if you have any final words for us to close the webinar.
Sure. Thanks, Irene, and thanks especially to all the presenters. Just two quick notes is that we will publish a summary and we'll share it with you first before we share it with the wider community that we'll put on the knowledge portal, just so others can see what you've done. And if it's okay with your permission, we can also post the slides. And the second thing is I wanted to say that globally we're working on our plans for the year, and that includes refining our strategy, but also developing a solutions document that looks at these wider systematic change issues that I think Lizette, but all of you have highlighted the importance of engaging health, getting their commitment, budget lines, monitoring. So we'll be reaching out to you to help populate that document, and hopefully you'll find it of use to you as well. So we'll be seeking your input in the near future.
Thank you so much, Maggie. We'll also try to pull out some of the questions and responses that came through the chat box and share with all the colleagues on this webinar, as well as the slides that have been presented, so that we can, find time on our own to read and sort of understand what each of the countries have shared. So thank you so much again, and we look forward to another sharing in another webinar, maybe sometime very soon, with colleagues from different organizations and all those who are involved in the washing healthcare facility activities. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, have a good day.
Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks a lot.
Bye from Liberia.
Sorry,